If you've ever wondered what it's like to bring your small business to a major trade show, I'm gonna share everything that I learned from my first trip to exhibit my brand, Elise Brand Design, at America's Mart in Atlanta. Besides everything that we brought for our booth, we also came prepared with some lunch. You can also buy lunch there, and lots of water. Basically, you're on your feet all day, so it's super important to have everything that you need at the show with you. We also brought an iPad from our storefront and the cell phone that we have at our storefront because we used both of those to take orders. Since it cost over $600 to get Wi-Fi in our booth, we just used the data that was already built in with those devices, and that's the way that we were able to take orders. You can wear whatever you want. I would say that generally the dress code is kind of business casual, but most people dress in a way that reflects their brand in some capacity. So if you have like a very minimalist modern brand, then maybe you have like a sleek turtleneck or something. And if you have a really bright, colorful brand, then usually you're gonna wear maybe like a loud printed skirt or top or something like that. And what we decided to do, just because it would make it easier and we didn't have to worry about matching between the six of us, is we just got t-shirts that all matched and had Elise Brand Design branding on it, and that made it really simple. So we had our gray shirts and our pink shirts, and we just switched off day to day. And that was also nice because it was super comfortable, which brings me to the most important tip. I feel like when I went to my first show, I was very naive and did not wear tennis shoes, but I wore tennis shoes for all the shows since then. And in fact, one of my booth neighbors at one point said, you can tell who's new to the shows if they're not wearing tennis shoes, because honestly, like, your feet just feel like garbage at the end of the day. It's like 9 hours plus of walking around and standing. And the biggest thing that I could recommend for anybody going to a show is wear the most comfortable shoes you own. We took wholesale orders at the show with our existing platforms. So our website is already hosted by Shopify, and we also have a wholesale page on Faire. We do wholesale orders through Shopify by writing out a custom invoice, and then we pretty much do the same thing on Faire, but we are able to use their app on our iPad and cell phone. So if you are using Faire at a trade show, you want to be very careful to make sure that you are getting a 0% commission on the order, because Faire is not free. Faire costs money for sellers. It is a 15% commission, and if it's the first order that you've taken with a buyer, they also take an additional $10 fee. So that is a very hefty commission, especially when wholesale orders are already 50% off. So you want to be very careful at a trade show to make sure that you get the email address of anybody who is interested in ordering, especially if they say, oh, are you on Faire? I'll just order there. Because if they order, even though they've found you through the trade show, if they just go on Faire and search your name and order, it's gonna have that 15% commission. So if you're able to get their email address, you can enter them in through your Faire portal, and then that way if they order with an account associated with that email address, it'll be 0% automatically. However, some buyers have multiple emails for their business, so if you enter the wrong email, it could still come through as a 15% commission. So the other thing that we did and tried to strategize ahead of time to avoid that scenario was also send an email to the customer immediately after we met them saying, hi, nice to meet you. I just wanted to give you my Faire direct link so that you have it in case you want to place an order. If you have any questions, let me know. And that way, even if they don't use your Faire direct link, which also has a 0% commission, then you can send a screenshot of that email to Faire and say, hey, I reached out to these buyers before they purchased, and therefore I should get a 0% commission, and they should adjust it. Another way to avoid that is to go through your own website. And so we use Shopify to write custom invoices as well during the show. And for that situation, it was really nice to have everybody there at the show, because we could stay at the booth while a couple people went off and wrote an invoice and got it sent off. And then we could get some of those orders fulfilled even that day or the next day. So I would say that system worked out really well, and have the option to go through Faire or off of Faire. Something that some people elect to do in their booths with their brand is hand out free samples and catalogs. And we had free little reusable bags that are a little bit smaller than our normal reusable bags. So we put our little wholesale catalog in there, and then we put a free sticker in there and a business card, and we handed those out. The thing that I really like about that is it's something that the buyer can take with them to remind them of you later on in case they want to place an order but we're in a rush at the time. Also, it's very helpful for starting a conversation. So it's really nice if you are kind of shy or just generally feel kind of awkward reaching out to people, which I definitely do. Like, I am okay to say like, hey, how are you? But after that, I don't want to be like, please look at my brand. So if you have it in your budget, I would recommend giving out a little freebie that can just kind of get the conversation started. We had our full catalog available as a printed out, like big chunky like packet, and then we also had a digital catalog available on the iPad that we brought, and both were very helpful because we could not fit every single SKU that we have, every single different product in our booth. It was only a 10 by 10 booth and we have 1,900 different products. So in order to be able to best like show people what we have to offer, we were able to provide recommendations and point to them in the catalog or pull it up on the iPad, so that it was just easier for them to place their orders and see what the options were. I recommend having a digital catalog and a paper one because the paper one they can take with them, and the digital one you can zoom in on the photos. So because we have so many SKUs, we didn't want to have like this packet be like 100 pages. So the photos ended up being pretty small. I think it definitely did the job, but being able to zoom in was really nice. And some people just prefer digital or paper. So we also had a QR code that linked to our digital catalog that people could save for later too. And I think having both was key.
What was that, Wisdom?
It was a long time it was a short time for it, like just in life. Like you move into an apartment, you stay for a year. And what happened with words? It felt like a long time for only being temporary. Like we shouldn't have been here this long for being short.
Felt like a long time for only being temporary. That's deep.
The number one thing to expect about trade shows is that the days are going to be so long. And in the morning and in the evening, when you're kind of like the least dialed in, at least for me, that's when it's usually even slower and there's no energy to feed off of. So definitely just come mentally prepared. Maybe have something to work on if you're able to. I feel like that would help pass the time a lot.
End of day one, in one word, how are we feeling?
Tired.
Pretty good.
Oh.
A little bit of all of that.
I feel cashed up.
Cashed up. That's good. You're too busy taking orders.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear.
It definitely helped to have a fun dinner already booked and planned for us at the end of the day because first of all, we were hungry, and second of all, it took all of the decision making out of like figuring out what we wanted to eat or what we were gonna do. We just had our reservations pre-made or our menu preset, and we either went out to eat or went home to the Airbnb and just ate and chilled out, and we watched movies, and it was fun. Like honestly, just having some time to wind down at the end of the day made it a lot easier to get through all of the long days and made it a really fun trip. If you have any questions about participating in a trade show, please let us know. We really want to answer them all, so ask away in the comments, and be sure to check out my other videos about how to plan and set up for a trade show. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and check out all of my other content about owning and running my small business.